Do you guys know where polar bears live? If we look at this image, we can tell that they live somewhere where it's cold and that there's icebergs. Polar bears actually live in a place called the Arctic Circle. If you look at this map, you see the red dot. That's where we are in North Carolina. This next red dot shows us where the North Pole is. Has anyone ever heard of that? Polar bears actually live close to the North Pole in a place we call the Arctic Circle. If you look at our map here, we have a red line. Everything above that red line is the Arctic Circle. So because the Arctic Circle is so far north, it's very cold. You actually see a lot of snow and you see a lot of ice because the Arctic Circle is mostly made of the Arctic Sea, and the Arctic Sea is frozen and you see big ice pieces we call icebergs. And the polar bears like the icebergs because they're able to use them to help them hunt. So that's why you see polar bears on icebergs or on ice and water a lot. Okay guys, so now that we have discovered where our polar bears live, we're going to make our environment for them. So you should have your polar bear that you created from last week. I'm going to put it off to the side, and you're going to need two different shades of blue. So we have this ice blue and then this blue that we're going to use for our water. You can get these papers either from me when you come to school, or there will be some at the front desk for you. So we're going to start with this ice blue color, and we're going to put our other one off to the side. What we want to do with this ice blue color is cut it up into different free-form shapes. A free-form shape is a shape that doesn't have any actual geometric shape, like a square or a circle or a triangle or an oval. It's not like that. A free-form shape just kind of has its own boundaries. So we're going to try to cut out some things that might look like icebergs, and I'm going to show you how to do that as you watch this next video. Alright, so I sped this video up so you guys can see a little bit better about what I'm making. So I'm cutting out my icebergs with freeform shapes, just kind of randomly cutting. I don't want you to use rounded cuts. I want you to use straight cuts because that looks a little bit more like an iceberg because the way that ice forms and maybe the way that ice breaks. So in the next video you get to see me how I'm going to arrange these to make our artwork. Alright, so now that I have my free-form shapes cut out, and remember I'm not using a lot of curves, I'm kind of using angles because the ice is kind of breaking in the shape of an angle a lot of times. I've got all these. I don't necessarily need to use them all. I'm going to kind of place them around my paper. They can overlap, they can touch, they don't have to. You can kind of put them all in here or move them around. You don't have to use them all if you want. You can have them go off to the edge, and we can trim that later if you guys want to do that. So if I kind of like mine like this, I'm going to have mine, let's see, just like this. Alright, so I'm kind of playing around. I'm not using this one, I can put this off to the side. Now I need to glue these down, and then I'm going to place my polar bear somewhere on here, and I'm going to glue him down as well once I get these glued down. So I'm going to show you that in this next video. Alright guys, so when you're gluing, make sure that you're getting the glue everywhere. If you have pieces like that one that's hanging off the edge, if you have glue on it, you can just fold it over instead of trimming it. Make sure you're getting glue on your polar bear everywhere, on all the legs and all the pieces before it dries when you glue it down. Alright, so now that I have my polar bear glued down, I've got my icebergs, I have my water here. We're going to help add some details into our water to make it look a little bit more like water. So I'm going to just try to draw a little wavy line in a few places, kind of off to the sides, to help people know that this is water. Alright, so I'm just going to add a few of the openings. I don't want to draw them on my ice blue because that's my ice. Alright, so there I've got a few. I've got drawn with my pencil. I can go over them with a black marker. Alright, and then once this is all done, once I've traced all these, I might go back and erase some of my pencil lines that are kind of off to the side, and then my artwork is going to be done. Here's what your finished artwork might look like. We have our polar bear walking across some icebergs. We added some water lines in there, and this is our polar bear living in his environment within the Arctic Circle. Alright guys, I can't wait to see what everyone makes. Make sure that you post it and you share it on Seesaw so I can get credit for you guys doing your project. Alright, can't wait to see.